Community Padawans, Francisco here from Connect Dots, and welcome to one more episode of the Connect Dots podcasts. After our first conversation with Gabrielle, head of community of Midnight Runners, for the second episode, we will have the honor to meet Nick Lowe, the co-founder of RAYA, Run As You Are, an NFT Web3 based community that was launched April 2022. In this conversation, this really interesting conversation, we get to know a little bit more about RAYA, the purpose and the mission of this project, since they are trying to bring more diversity into running, but also creating a network connecting runners, retailers, and also running brands. We also talk about their engagement strategy, some of their future plans, and in the end, it was really interesting to know that Nick is available to help other fellow community builders to know a little bit more about this world of the NFTs and also Web3. Thank you so much, Nick, for accepting the challenge and the invite to be with us on this second episode of the Connect Dots podcasts. If you enjoy this conversation, please leave a comment on the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, this podcast with fellow community builders, and just like that, sit, relax, and we really hope you enjoy this conversation. Action! Nick Lowe. It's Lowe or Lou?
Low.
Lowe. Okay, Nick Lowe. So you are the second guest of Connect Dots podcasts. Actually, not the second, but it's the second since we decided to focus this project and this podcasts on a specific niche. So sports, wellness, fitness plus community. I was thinking that because of the first guests, our first guest was Gabriel Giglione. He's the head of community of Midnight Runners. You know the project, right? Midnight
Yes,
Runners.
that's the idea.
He's Canadian. And when I told him that, the second guest of the podcast will be Nick Lowe, and he's the co-founder of this amazing project, RAYA. And I just explained a little bit about the project, and he said, "Oh my God, I need to get in touch with these guys." So Gabriel, this is a promise. I will connect you with Nick because I'm sure that you guys should talk. So
Definitely.
Nick, first things first. Thank you so much for accepting the invite. Finally, we got the chance to talk. I'm really looking forward for this conversation. Again, first things first. Tell us a little bit more about you, and I have already a small challenge. Is there anything about you, your skills, your story as an entrepreneur, whatever, something that maybe like your workmates don't know that you like to share? Like something curious about you.
Something curious about me that my workmates don't know. Um, well, I recently had a kid, right?
Uh huh. Yeah,
His name's
Luca.
Luca.
Yeah.
Yes, Luca. He's 1 years old. Something I'm working towards with with him, but also with my wife and um, my dog as well, is kind of figuring out how we can spend all of our time kind of together,
Uh huh.
right? Um, in the sense of I'm not 100% convinced that I should be putting him into the regular schooling system as
Mm-hmm.
well as the daycares and things like that. I'm starting to a little bit, and I'm not I don't love it. I don't love it. So we're actually spending a lot of my free time on the weekends to map out kind of like this new way of living
Uh
that
huh.
I really wanted to do with my family, which is wake up every day and kind of be like him. Like
Yeah.
when he wakes up in the morning, he's very excited and I would say almost inspired to be creative. And he's always, he wants to walk, he wants to, play with things, he wants to. I always wonder like why as adults we can't do that. Like we can't wake up and just just so excited for the day,
Uh-huh.
regardless of whether it's Monday or Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, yeah,
So
because
you are a fan. So what you're saying is that you are a fan like of unschooling, or you're looking for any other ways to educate Luca?
yeah, like I want to maybe take a shot at homeschooling,
Okay.
um, and not just from me though, because I feel like that's very biased. I
Yeah.
have a certain lens that I've lived with others that hopefully, and this will lead into community conversations, of course, with others that actually kind of followed similar values.
Yeah.
I want my son to have different voices that can educate him
Okay.
in different aspects of the world. But I'm
Okay.
not sure school, like the traditional school system, is
Yeah.
the way I want to go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So again, my workmates definitely don't know about that about me.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
And
I'm planning this.
what about like the normal cliche thing? So you are based in the United States, California, am I right?
No, 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 no. I'm
Ah.
actually from Canada, Vancouver.
Ah, yeah, right, of course, Vancouver Running Company. Of course,
Yeah,
I
that's right.
thought because of the time zone PST, I thought that it was because of the United States. But yes, I knew that you are based in Canada. Well, of course,
Yes.
and so you are at the moment co-founder of Odd Future and
Yes, Odd Future.
also
Yes,
co-founder. Well, 6 months ago, co-founder of RAYA. But let's start
correct.
with the Odd Future. Tell us a little bit more about what's the business all about.
Sure, yeah. So me and my partner, his name is Larry. He lives in Toronto. We started this company called Odd Future about 1 year ago now, and it was our kind of introduction to Web3 technology. And truthfully, like we were just both very passionate about the the ethos and I guess the meaning behind Web3 and this idea of decentralization and the idea of kind of equality and ownership that everybody can have distributed.
Yeah,
um, so we were just fascinated with that. And me and him both come from very kind of traditional business lenses. We've built companies in the past and worked with corporate entities in the past, so we're very familiar with how like centralized capitalism works. And can't say I love all aspects of it. Funny enough, we're recording this the day after um, Patagonia.
yeah,
I'm sure you
yeah,
read that with is it Yvon Chouinard? It's his name.
yeah.
Um,
Yvonne, yeah, he's
Chou-
yeah,
I
something,
don't know how to
something
pronounce
like
it,
that. Yeah,
something like that, who decided to kind of give
yeah,
away uh, effectively their whole company to he calls it to Earth. And that's I've never seen that before from a capitalistic perspective because it's a for-profit organization. Very inspiring, very inspiring.
true.
I couldn't stop talking about it yesterday to
Yeah,
everyone I knew because I'm
yeah,
like I can't believe somebody would do that.
yeah,
It's something I want to strive towards.
yeah.
It's made me actually think, whoa, like wow, there's really good people in this world.
It's an amazing,
There's
bold, inspiring move
Yeah,
by him, right? So yeah,
very inspiring. So to back to Odd Future and Web3, a lot of working in traditional businesses brought us to the Web3 world where we're like, wait a sec, this is interesting. So we started buying a lot of NFTs and engaging in cryptocurrencies, probably even before that. But uh, we did a lot of it ourselves. And then what happened was a lot of our friends were asking us about it, like, hey, what are these NFTs you guys are buying, and can you teach us about it? So what me and him did was basically just formed this like small group at first, where in Vancouver we would have meetups, host meetups,
hmm,
and these meetups were me and him and maybe 3, 4 of our friends at first, and we would just have some drinks and have some food and basically just share ideas around NFTs. We decided to do this kind of on a monthly basis, and by month 2 and month 3 we started getting like maybe 20, 30 people show up,
That's
and
amazing.
they weren't really our friends. They were like extensions of our friends, and people just started asking about it, and they wanted to learn more. And then by the time we got to basically the December of last year, it started to grow like to maybe 60, 70, 80
Oh wow.
people. We ended up having to change our venues, um, to a bigger space, and it became like just this organic community that grew out of nothing,
That's
because I'm
amazing.
not an yeah, like I don't consider myself like an expert in this space. Neither does my partner. We just loved it, and we just like watched a lot of YouTube videos, and bought and sold, and um, became a part of NFT communities ourselves. So
Yeah.
everyone wanted to learn about it. So
Yeah, but
the
the funny thing is that, well, actually, I saw a tweet from Tom Ross today on Twitter saying that because of his community, he was saying that some members were quitting their community because his community is focused on helping community builders because building community is hard, but somehow the way you did with the project, so with the odd future and starting to organize meetups, that's like the most simple way of building community. Just getting a venue, getting people, get the purpose, and go with it, right? So that's amazing.
Yeah, and I so the Odd Future as a company really started organically out of that, because it wasn't even a company before. It was just meetups.
Yeah.
And we eventually formalized it into a company because some of the people that were showing up to our meetups were directors of brands, and they own their own companies, and they were coming to us asking us like, hey, like we're thinking about launching an NFT project, or thinking about how to use Web3 for our company. Is that something you guys can help us with? And we're like, sure. Because like I was interested for sure, but like we didn't have a team or anything. We were just like, yeah, let's do it. um, and then we kind of backtracked and formed a company, and decided to hire our first set of people, which wasn't, they're just young developers. Like I think we hired one or two at first, and then hired one of our friends, and then just kind of started taking calls from brands, around like Web3 strategy, NFTs, cryptocurrency, blockchain, like all of that stuff, and then consulting for them. So
That's amazing.
that's how it started,
Oh my god.
really with no intention to start a company at all.
And
Just kind of fell into it.
how now from like December till April, how do you connect that now with the journey of building Raya? So Raya, the uh, so Web3 running community, so run as you are. So how do you connect the journey from creating Odd Future by like from nothing and then decided to start in April with Run as You Are?
Yeah, I always say like, different projects and different companies and different things that people work on are basically, moments in time, based, like formed around people's passions, right? So Run As You Are was very much a culmination of my personal passion into Web3, right? And of course, my personal passion into running. And I about 18 months ago, I partnered, became a co-owner of a run retail shop
Yeah.
called Vancouver Running Company with my partners Rob and Becky here in Vancouver. They started the company. I didn't start the company. I joined them kind of after the fact, and just became, really immersed in run culture. I was already a runner before that, but when I joined the company, I started to understand like the business of running, and e-commerce, and community building from run crews, and races and things like that a little bit more intimately. And what I really found was two things, right? Number one, the run industry from a retail perspective felt kind of fragmented.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Meaning there wasn't a lot of like as much collaboration as maybe the public sees, right? That was one. And then two was there was kind of like a glaring hole in terms of diversity inclusion.
True.
And yeah, and it's just good to be honest with ourselves. Like I'm not a very typical type of runner at all. Like I'm not, very skinny. I'm not very tall. I'm not like there's certain elements from a trait perspective that doesn't define me as like your standard like super fast runner and all this kind of stuff. So I was very upfront with my partners at the time, saying, "Look, like, I don't even feel like I belong in the shop sometimes, right? And I'm one of the owners, right? And that's kind of weird, right? So, but why is that? It's not the intent, because the intention is they want to make it welcoming for everybody, but for whatever reason, that's how the industry is shaped up, is
Yeah.
like
Oh my God,
not right.
that's really interesting that that you're saying that. Well, especially taking into account now the knowledge that you have from the industry, and it's good that sometimes we see brands promoting diversity and let's do this, let's do that, and in the end, there's so much that we can that we can do, and it's funny that somehow you don't see yourself as like the you don't picture yourself as a normal runner, like the skinny guy, 7% body fat,
Yeah.
uh, and but somehow you feel that you love running, but you kind of don't belong. That's interesting. You're that you're saying that. For example, this is just a side note. Yesterday,
Sure.
I was writing in like an article about trail running community based in the UK. So it's black trail runners, and
Mhm.
one of the things that they first started to do was they were getting data from race directors in the UK, and they got into the conclusion that the race entries of black runners was below
Mhm.
1%.
Right.
1%, which is like wow, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. So um, somehow this connects with so the like the overall view that you have now related to the running industry. This somehow leads to my first question, starting to focus more a little bit on Raya. So when we start to build a community, normally we focus on getting a purpose or set a mission for the project. So what's the purpose of Raya? So somehow resonates
Yeah.
with finding diversity in running, right? What's the purpose?
Yeah. So again, like kind of back to what I was talking about around the two kind of glaring things that I noticed. One is like, well, it's fragmented, right, from retailers, brands, and community type of thing. And then number two is a very kind of clear lack of diversity and inclusion that's actually just happening in the space. And I know there's like efforts from a lot of different groups that are trying to push for a different narrative and stuff, right? So but the truth is it's not there yet. And if I don't feel like I belong in my own store, then that's kind of weird, right? So like the purpose of Raya again is to number one, can we use technology to connect everything that felt fragmented before, right? So retailers, brands, community, races, crews, like all of it, right? Uh, Experiences. Can we use technology as the backbone for that? Number one, that's what we're trying to solve. And then number two is, as mentioned, is there a way to use artwork, right, and interpretations, um, and in some ways abstract illustrations, to give people an identity that they feel comfortable with, that they want to represent, because people run for different reasons, and I run every single day. I run, right. So I would say I run more than most people, but I don't identify with a traditional definition of a runner,
Yeah.
because I'm very much a soloist. Like I run by myself or with my child in a stroller these days, and it's my only time that I'm actually unplugged completely, because I'm obviously very busy, and I am constantly communicating and being parts of different communities.
Yeah.
It's the only time where I can like mentally just not think about anything,
Hmm.
and I go for my run, right? So but that's not the same as like joining a run crew, or showing up to an event or whatever. That's, you know, I didn't feel like there was a lot of people like me there, because people like me don't like to run in groups. Right? We like to run by ourselves, right?
So
So
somehow, what you're saying is that, well, I would say that, well, 99% of people run mostly alone, but then
yeah,
somehow
for sure.
there's like the will, and people like to engage, interact, to get to know other fellow runners. So based on what you're saying, so on one side you want to create like a platform and a network where brands,
Hmm.
shops, runners, race organizers, or races can connect somehow. And a second layer, it's related to diversity. So the runner identity, uh, that in the end can be a very diverse identity, right? So there's no uh, how can I say this? So there's not only one way of looking
Definition.
to a runner, or one a definition of what a runner means. There are many, right?
Yeah, and I think like diversity is often the result of inclusivity. And
Yeah.
if you feel like you belong, and you feel like you're welcome, and you feel like you're invited, then diversity should be the result of that, right?
Yeah.
Because now running is the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Not the color of my skin, or how fast I am, or how tall I am, or how many races I've done. It's just, if you run, you're part of this, and diversity should be the result, right? You're going to
Mm-hmm.
see a whole bunch of different people running with different sizes, different races, different genders, different identities. They're, like, that's what I would love to see. So we're obviously using like art and illustrations to depict a world where runners will hopefully identify with what we're trying to create.
Okay. And um, like okay, so purpose check. Normally, and I'm sure that you may heard about this sentence. Normally, we say that people come for the content, stay for the community.
Sure.
Um, what do you think is the reason why people, as soon as they get to know about Run As You Are, what do you think are the reasons that will make people stay? So, what's now just starting just to move the conversation a little bit more to community strategy, for example. Um, what's the value? Why people should stay? Why people will look for to become a member of Raya?
Yeah. So like what what uh, what you're asking is, like how we plan to solve that problem. um, and I think it comes in twofold. Number one is you have to create an environment where it's easy to join, right? Easy to joined by anybody around the world, right? So technology almost has to underpin it, because it's accessible, right? Anyone with an internet connection will be able to join Raya, completely free. There's no charge, any of that stuff, right? So free to join. So again, to your point, it's content first, right? That is the content. The content is, hey, we're available. All you have to do is click a couple buttons and you're in our community. Now, what's the value prop? Like, what's keeping you there, right? More than just because I join things all the time. I don't necessarily stay, right? Because it's kind of like when you, I don't know, go to an event and they give out free juices or free coffee or whatever, I will probably drink the free
Of
juice or
course.
free coffee. But will I actually go buy a second one? I'm not sure I would, right? It'd have to really convince me that it's better than the normal coffee that I drink every day. You know what I mean? To get out of my way to go do that. So it's our job now to, when they're in our platform, and whether this is a web-based application or an app-based application, either way, within that platform, we need now to give value, a lot of value, right? And how do we wish to give that value? Multiple facets, but again, our strategy is around giving people as much resources and expertise as possible from quote unquote specialists or experts around the world. So that's why we bring the brands. That's why we bring the retailers. That's why we're, talking to. My background is actually in physical therapy. You probably saw that from my profile. But from a rehab perspective, from a performance perspective, from a coaching perspective, from a mental health perspective, we need to bring all of that and be able to give that to our consumer completely free, right? And that is our goal, to bring in as much of that as possible so that people want to come to this platform because the value prop is already there.
Okay.
Now we're also going to weave in the Web3 side. And the
Yeah.
Web3 side is the NFT, right? We call it a digital membership, right? NFT, not everyone understands what it actually means. But aside from the kind of free to join platform that already has so much value, we just need people to want to come back. There's going to be an option for people to purchase a premium experience within our platform. That premium experience on a lot of platforms, that's, it's now the paid subscription. So that is basically what our model is, but we're using NFTs for that instead of traditional kind of paid subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
And the big difference between an NFT being the kind of membership offering and non NFT being the membership offering is the ability to actually own something now,
Yeah.
right? So when they go buy that membership, there's a transfer of ownership from us to you, right? So now you own that membership. What
And
does that mean? Right?
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. I was just asking is like well I know a few other NFT projects. Some of them are also related to sports. And
Yes.
I remember there's one that because they had NFT on the name of the community, and they just removed NFT from the name because uh, potential members were not accepting and were not getting the idea of this being an NFT. And in order for me to participate, I need to have an NFT. Do you feel that with Rise is different? So what's the like? Are members accepting the fact that like a future membership will come with the NFT?
Yeah, because again, like the NFT side has to be the last bit, right? Because the idea of Raya is the number one has nothing to do with the NFT. Number one, it just has to be a fun, engaging platform for runners. They're going to have to want to come on, regardless of whether it's NFT or not. The user experience has to be amazing. That's number one, and that's completely free, right? The NFT side is just a premium offering. So it's a way for us to say, hey, if you want to be part of a more exclusive group, then it is available. And what does that bring? Again, it brings ownership of a membership. It brings elevated experiences, elevated products, elevated all these kind of things. Not to say you can't get that in the free experience, but there's going to be some unique perks, obviously, from
Mm-hmm.
the NFT
Of
side.
course.
And the most, yeah, and the fun side for us is you also get this very unique collectible that's hand drawn, animated, really fun, that you can collect, that you can own and gift to somebody if you want. You can sell it in the future if you want. We don't own that anymore, right? For most paid subscription models, if you end your subscription, you end your subscription,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think a lot of people don't quite understand what NFTs are yet because they think of it mostly from a kind of like art and fun little kind of picture perspective. Um, Really, what it is, it's just a proof of ownership and transfer of ownership.
Yeah.
That's the only big difference um, that it is, because
Yeah.
the user experience is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's not too different than, I know Starbucks recently launched their kind of Web3 project that's part of their loyalty program. Before the Web3 thing, people collected stars,
Yeah.
right? If you buy coffees, you collect stars. And with the stars, you can now exchange it for things. But say I collected, thousands of stars, right? And one day I just decided, you know what? I don't want to drink Starbucks coffee anymore. I want to drink another shop type of thing. Well, how do I give away my stars to my best friend who loves Starbucks? You can't,
Yeah.
right? Unless I give them my login information that has my credit card tied to it, right? The stars, if I decide not to use it, it just sits there, right? Or I cancel my membership and Starbucks, it just resets,
Yeah.
right? But now just think of each of those stars as NFTs, right? So those stars, I actually I own them, right? And those stars might have value in the future, and the value being you can exchange it for coffee from Starbucks. So if my best friend just loves Starbucks, perfect. For your next birthday, I'm going to gift you all my stars and you go have fun, because I earned it though, because I bought a lot of Starbucks. You know what I'm
But
saying?
but somehow you feel that it will in so it will take some time for people to understand like the real value behind the NFTs, especially when in what regards like becoming a member of a project. This case,
Yeah.
becoming a member of Raya. You guys right now are so the only platform is Discord, right?
Correct.
So that's where like that's the home
Yeah.
of community. But
Correct.
and I see that you now have already at least two amazing partnerships. One with Adidas, the second one with CL Athletics, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
is amazing. You have organized already an in-person event.
Yes.
And I'm asking this because one of the things that I really love about your project is the roadmap, and
Thank you.
I got to know that I saw the version 1.0 of the roadmap. Now I know that you have a version 1.1 or 2.1. Sorry, 2.0.
Sure.
Because somehow you updated a few things. So tell us a little bit more about that. So I see the roadmap as your action plan as a community, as like the strategy that you have, mid
Yep.
long term strategy. Tell us a little bit more about that. And so that's question number A. A1 is the update that on the roadmap resulted. So you got feedback from the community to do that update, or it was or resulted from something that you felt okay. So we need to do a few changes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the NFT space and Web3 space has evolved a ton, especially the last 6 months, I would say. But originally, again, when we started Raya, it wasn't actually in April. April's when we launched it
Mm-hmm.
publicly. Our team has been working on Raya since I believe last summer, like July of 2021, is when we first conceptualized the idea. And the original conceptualization of it was actually a bunch of T-shirts. We wanted to um, have runners purchase these T-shirts, and we would print for them on their shirt the runner that they best represents them, so people can show up to run crews and run events as themselves always. So that was the original intention for like diversity and inclusion. And then when the artwork, we started like getting the colors and the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, we started to realize, wow, like this can be more than just a t-shirt project. So that's when we kind of made it into an NFT project. And that was when the NFT craze was going on, and everyone was buying NFTs at that time. So we did focus a lot on the NFT side of it and the artwork and all that kind of stuff. And then the NFT market really started to the interest started to wane. And again, I always think these are healthy. This is a good thing for the space, because there was too many bad things that were happening in the space with scams and just people like losing money and things like that. That corrections have to happen for us to evolve into the next iteration, right? So I feel like currently what's happening right now is we're correcting. And everyone knows of NFTs now as like these funny little pictures, right? And they feel a little bit like cash grabby. It feels a little bit scammy, right? So that's the last image for most people of NFTs. So we knew that we needed to evolve with how NFTs are going to be consumed, not right now, but we like to think of it as like, how are people going to consume this stuff in a year or 2 years or 3 years? Let's go build for that, right? And if we can kind of bridge people where they are today, which is, I don't know if I want to buy NFTs, to no, this is not really NFTs. This is just a fun run community that you can be a part of. And if you want to buy the NFT, great, because it'll give you XYZ, right? But if you don't, no big deal. We're still love you to be a part of our community, because that's what Raya is about. It's about inclusivity. Cool. And then in the future, when we really feel like the world will start to evolve and use this technology, meaning more websites, more parts of the internet will start to utilize blockchain technology, and people are starting to engage with it. Starbucks making a big move, of course. Now people that use the Starbucks app are potentially using, buying and selling NFTs, and they don't even know they're doing it, right? Because it's about the experience. It's not
Yeah.
about the technology. The technology just underpins it's the way to give you that experience. If people love it, then they'll start to learn about the actual technology
Yeah.
itself, right? So we're really positioning ourselves as that. So the roadmap has evolved obviously so much for us, from a t-shirt company to an NFT project to now what we're basically saying, like, it's really a technology platform that integrates NFTs in a very small way, right? And over time, we're predicting that more and more people will start to adopt this technology.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure that our platform can integrate with blockchain, can integrate with cryptocurrency, NFTs, but let's not make that the focus of our platform, because people just don't understand it right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
So, and based on what you know that people want right now, what's so what are the plans in a short term? I know that you're planning to create your own app, right?
Yes.
You are
Yes.
working. I saw the illustration on showing like the new way of like retail shops working. So a new experience when people want to buy shoes on the internet. So based on what you know that people want right now, what are your actual plans?
Yeah. So, like, at the heart of like myself and Rob specifically, who are part of Raya, we're also owners of a retail shop, like I said, right? So I we know a lot of retailers around the world. We're friends with a lot of them, and they're all doing such amazing things within their communities. We wanted to use Raya as a way to kind of elevate them, right? Is there a way that we can, you know, drive more eyeballs to what they're doing in their respective cities? So we're partnering with retailers that are similar to Vancouver Running Company, but doing it within their own cities. There's 3 to 4 that we've partnered with already. We haven't announced anything yet, um, but the plan is to partner with maybe 4, 5, 6 before we actually launch um, our platform. And the idea is very simple. Like these retailers, we feel like are innovating and pushing and building strong communities within their cities. Is there a way that people within their cities that are part of Raya, right, can get some very specific perks and membership offerings within those exact retailers? So if you lived in Vancouver and you hold a Raya NFT or you're part of the Raya community, can you go to the Vancouver Running Company store and kind of unlock something? Maybe you get early access to special drops. Maybe you get early access to retreats or events. That's how we're looking at this as kind of the short-term plan is retail centric, meaning these small shops. And so we haven't announced all these things yet, but what's likely going to happen is we're launching in these cities,
Uh-huh.
right? So we'll
Okay.
obviously start in Vancouver, and we'll introduce Raya to the world, and we want the Vancouver community to come to support us. The next city that we go to, which I won't say, will be there'll be a retail partner right there, right? We'll definitely go there and basically create a Raya experience, teach people about the technology and all that kind of stuff,
Awesome.
and then basically launch in different cities around the world,
Yeah.
right? And hopefully get as many people on the platform as possible. And together with brands, there's actually four brands. There's Adidas, On,
Oh yeah.
CL, and
On. Yeah. Yeah.
Satisfy
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Kind of create like amazing products and experiences for our Riot community.
Yeah.
So if you end up buying one of the our NFTs and it happens to have like Adidas shoes on the artwork, then we can create kind of unique surprises for them with Adidas, for instance.
Yeah.
Maybe they get access to an event that is in Germany or whatever that may be. That would be kind of fun. Should do something
Yeah.
in Portugal actually. That'd be
Well,
fun too.
let's bring it on. um,
There you go.
Actually, yeah, when you talked about on, I know that they were the first brand to become a partner of Raya. Yeah. So,
Yes,
Nick, moving to the last questions of our conversation,
please.
I would love to know more about two topics. So, one is on the like focus more on the community side. So just like I've mentioned earlier, right now you were like you have Discord, a Discord server as like the digital home of Raya. So how many of you are working right now, and do you have any community builder, or it's just you and your team members doing your bests in order to engage and make members come back?
Yeah, so I would say it's been challenging for sure because we look at ourselves as a startup company. We
Yeah.
are a startup company. So we have a team of approximately maybe 12 people right
Oh
now.
wow.
um, yeah, decent size, but a lot of them are on the tech side. So they're building the actual platform. And then there's a few of us that are more on the kind of partnership, community building, marketing, creative, brand, like all that kind of stuff. Um, and Discord obviously being one of them. I do a lot of it still around like announcements and trying to engage with the community. um, but what we're thinking through is Discord going to be the long-term solution? We're not sure, because do we build that right into our platform or integrate that into our platform? We are moving Strava. So we have a Strava integration on
Yeah.
our Discord that allows people to collect points and exchange for raffles and prizes, just to create like a fun environment for people. We're moving that onto the platform itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be kind of moved off of Discord because we can do more on the platform. The Discord, what it serves though, is the actual communication and chats that um, are on there, and I think there's a lot of value there, right? But not just from a general like chat function, but really from an expertise function. So really, what I want to do, and I have been bringing on new people on the team, is creating channels that are really expertise channels that create very unique content for people to engage with.
Yeah.
So whether you're bringing in experts in like runners themselves, coaches, rehab specialists, performance specialists, mental health specialists, product, like all of it. We need the resources to kind of bring on that team to start to hire, to kind of develop that content over time.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
awesome. It's awesome the way you plan, like internally and externally. So externally, you are looking to build a network, but internally, you are also looking to build a network that somehow will connect with your external project. So I really like the way you were planning things, and
Thank you.
in what regards monetization? So is it going to be based on the NFTs, or since like most of the things are free, how what's the plan to make this community sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, I mean that's a great question because I don't think it's often asked, especially when you're a community member. Obviously, we can't just keep giving out free products forever, right? This is a strategy we're using to build engagement, of course, and we know it's an expense and a cost on our side. um, but the monetization strategy for us is number one, first and foremost, it's not NFT driven. NFT as a membership offering is one of the revenue streams that we wish to do. So we will launch initially with, I think it's 5,102 of these memberships that are all artwork based and all that kind of stuff. But the idea for us is to add more. So we call that Series One. Our Series One collection will have that amount of NFTs. But we've been talking to a lot of the brands around maybe we can create special kind of collections with them, like for instance for On or Adidas, just an Adidas collection.
Yeah,
That's Raya runners, characters they want, backgrounds they want, clothing and shoes, like anything they want. We would work with them and create new collections, new collections, new collections. Also with some of our retail partners as well, we've been talking to around creating collections just for their community. So if it's a run shop in Portugal, for instance, we can help them create a collection just for their community in Portugal. So everything has to represent their city and
yeah,
country and community of runners, right? So from a membership perspective, that's one kind of big monetization strategy for us. But outside of the membership offering, what we're looking at is we're building a brand, right? So when you build a brand, do we plan to sell products in the future? Do we plan to sell we've already started selling a little bit of like Raya merchandise, like t-shirts and things like that. Absolutely. Do we wish to sell run products in the future? Probably. Events, tickets, things like that.
yeah.
You're just looking at as one big
Yeah, it's
brand. Yeah.
trial and error, right?
Totally.
Trial and errors
Totally.
thing. So my last two questions. Since we are talking about error, what was the main mistake you feel that you guys made throughout the journey? Like, is there any story or something that you'd like to share for the audience, our community, to learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we focused a little too hard on the NFT side
Okay.
initially, and we played into where the world was at that time. Remember, we these are all like moments in time, right? And I think when we launched in April, May, June, those months were very NFT driven, and we had a plan to really launch it as an NFT collection to NFT communities, but we quickly pivoted that as time went on because we realized most of the people buying NFTs are buying it as a speculative investment to kind of make money, right? And nothing wrong with that. But if you know that your customer is primarily buying it from a financial perspective,
Mm-hmm.
then whether they're a runner or not, I would never know, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately, who do I want to hold our membership? It's a runner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are not looking at like the value of the
Yeah.
NFT
Yeah.
because there's value in being part of the community,
I
right?
like it.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did pivot very fast into that. That was a big mistake we made, but it's also a meaningful mistake. I think we needed to make that to know where we were going.
Yeah. Last question. Since this is also, well, we of course we talk about community driven brands within the sports fitness wellness industry, but somehow we are also trying to bring content for community builders. If um, imagine that in 5 years, or well, not 5 years, tomorrow, Luca, hey dad, I want to be a community builder. What's the advice you would give to someone who wants to start their own community or wants to build a community driven brand?
Ooh, that's a tough one because community has to be defined, right? It's a very, I would say, nebulous kind of word. It means different things to different people. Um, the my background and the history of my work has always been around community building, in my previous jobs, in my previous companies as well. So I would say I always go back to the basics of community, like what defines a community to me. uh, what defines a community is something that everybody in that community, of course, values, but is incredibly passionate about, right? I go back to, like, I used to play a lot of basketball back in the day, and I have like many stories, but every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would show up at the community center near my home, and I would play basketball. And the people there, right, were different ages, different genders, different stages in life. They were teenagers all the way to 50, 60-year olds. From a demographic perspective, everybody was different. But why were we there? Because we all love the game of basketball, right? And the funny thing is, we never talked about anything else because we would always talk about basketball. I would show up and be like, "Hey, did you watch the game last night?" And I can connect with anybody through that one passion of ours, because there was one time where it was canceled, right? The gym was closed, and there was about 20 people outside going, uh do you guys want to go for coffee or something? So we went to the coffee shop, and we were having these conversations. I didn't even know half of their names. I had no idea what they did for work. Do you know what I mean? And we learned about each other, right? But what was the driving, like, thing that made us a community? It was basketball, right? If you remove that one thing, like, would I normally hang out with these people or be friends with them or grab beers with them? I could, but honestly, probably not,
Yeah.
because it was almost like forced, right? It was forced. It was like,
So
oh, we're
somehow the advice
different.
would be, if you want to start something, start based on your passion, right?
Yes, exactly. Right. So, and I think sports is a great way for that, right? I
Me
grew
too.
up in sports, and yeah, like, do you know, like, you show up to parties and it's, if there's that one person that, like, knows sports the same way you do, you gravitate to that person,
Yeah.
and you talk all night. You
Yeah,
talk all
true.
night,
There's a new
right?
best friend, right?
Yeah, so it's about truly what you're passionate about. And because we like to look at community as, like, a bunch of people that congregate based on events and based on things. It's really just about a passion. I don't have to play basketball with my community. I can talk basketball. I can, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be like about an event. That
Yeah,
doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
again, it's just you want to form a community, start with finding one other person that's super passionate about what you're passionate about. Doesn't matter what their background is or anything, just that one thing. Starts with one, and another and another and another. That's how you build it. You
awesome,
can't force community. It's
awesome.
impossible.
So, Nick, just like that, one more dot connected. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the work you guys, you and the whole Raya of Future team. Send my regards to my friend Bo. Uh,
Yes, of course.
and
Yeah.
let's keep in touch. Of course, I will keep watching all the things that you will bring with Raya. I'm super passionate about the project. And yeah, thanks so much for your time, and thanks so much for accepting. Let's keep in touch.
Yes,
Thank you so much, my friend.
absolutely. So much fun. I enjoyed it. Hope the listeners like the conversation that we had.
And one last thing that I just forgot, like where people can follow. So Raya dot.
So it's runasyoure.io is our
Okay.
website. So our website now has been completely wiped because we put a kind of coming soon page now because our platform is launching probably in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an email capture on there. We call it our run list. So for anyone who wants to join our run list, basically you'll get the earliest access to our platform. Just go on the website right now and you can
Run
just
as
enter
you
your
are
email
dot
.io.
io.
IO.
Okay, so my friends,
Yes.
let's all search for runasyouare.io and join the run list of this amazing project. Now, yes,
Awesome.
Nick, thank you so much. Let's keep in touch, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Ciao, ciao.